It's August the 31st, 2016. I'm Dana Durnford, and got a great show for everybody today. I can assure you it's one of those special shows. And I've been planning to do this for quite a while. And something always came up, like more documentation, more information. We're just going to walk right into it. And Nepkiller reminded me yesterday I didn't have my audio base moving at all. He's got really good speakers there. And so I went and had a look, and sure enough, he's right. And so what I had originally done was messed up all the sliders for the soundboard and had to reset them back to factory standards or whatever you want to call it, right? The basis, and then start again. Trust me. And so hopefully over the next couple of streams, I'll get the rest of the kinks out of the volume, out of the audio, blah, blah, blah. It's the most difficult part. And there are aspects I can't get rid of till I buy $1,000 worth of cords and move everything to the back of my place and then separate it all into its own fuses on the fuse box so that everything is isolated and get the grounds perfect, and then you can slowly get it down to, but you got to have a sound room, and on top of that, blah, blah, blah. So we're not going to worry about that. What we are going to talk about, E&E News posters had put a link there last week to a story from the Wall Street Journal, and it was about wastewater. And what it is, they're talking about all the spots. They got an interactive map, and you can see all these spots. When you click them, they'll light up for you, all right? And so an estimate 39 containers were dumped at this site according to the Nuclear Regulatory Commission report. But then this other one, this dump out here in the middle of the ocean, this is Midway Island. Okay. Now, just to start to show off, I want to put things in perspective for everybody. That a gram of, and I'm not bringing up that page for everybody, am I? Bear with me. That's my typical day. Okay. So an estimate 7 containers were dumped at the site in the 1960s. They went all the way out to the Midway Islands, and 14 curries of byproduct material. According, right, look at that word there, according. You'll see that a lot. To a 1980 Nuclear Regulatory Commission report to Congress. Now, what is 14 curries, Dana? I'll fix that coming up here in a second. 14 curries. Well, a gram has 88 curries of man-made. And a curry is 37 billion atoms. So a gram would have, how many times? 14 curries. Let's pop that back up without the noises. So 14 curries. If we want to go that route, we can get that ready for the next time we want it. But 88 divided by 14. So it took 6 times more to make a gram, but they went all the way out and dumped it there. And it was allegedly in 14 containers, 7 containers. Okay, the next one was everybody's favorite. Oh, Hawaii, is it? So 39 containers. And so these laws that they're talking about coming up will be easy. Now, North Pacific, Cape Scott, Canada. That's right where I'm told. I was up there. Remember that? That's where I was up doing the survey, that whole coastline. Right off that coastline, they got dumps. That's shocking. Now, let's put this into perspective, and we'll come right back to this. But there's a big picture that we want to put out there right away. And I just got to finish doing what I'm supposed to do. We'll bring that up. Okay, this is a map of a fallout across America from nuclear testing. And each of the lines you see are 3 or more nuclear clouds from above ground detonations. Probably a word, actually, for that, the proper word. But these donations, and we're going to come over and say hi to everybody in a little tiny, but the Geiger counter up in the right hand of the screen is live. Remember in Germany, 5 becquerels. They package it up and put it on a nuclear waste site. And in France was 17 becquerels per kilogram would get packaged up and put on a nuclear waste site. But the Geiger counter up on the right-hand side, and 55 at a nuclear plant anywhere around it is an evacuation zone. 114 is way up there, see? We're living in hell. Just look at that number there. That's hell. You're living in hell when you got that number. Areas of the continental United States. Now, they done that because here's a model that the FBI created that if Ruskies was going to bomb you, this is probably what America would look like after the nuclear exchanges. But here's the models, actual fallout patterns of atmospheric tests. Yeah, but we're worried about that, so we done that to you. Now, current locations of spent nuclear fuel, waste, and these are all holding spots. There's no actual repository. These are just holding spots. They're hemorrhaging into all the communities. Here's another way to look at it by the tons. Shocking, see? This is shocking. All of this has to be vented. Everything is vented in your community. All of it. Every bit of it. This is the nuclear silos. They got to replace the tritium in this every 12 years because it hemorrhages out into the community. They got, I'm having a hot chocolate, homemade hot chocolate. Just, U.S. commercial nuclear power plants, there's 6 times more breast cancer around these power plants within 15 miles. What makes you think that that is not the same, and this is not going to cause the same issue, and that's not going to cause the same issue? Well, they do, right? Exactly do. Then you got missile silos. I can't remember what this one was. Maybe this wasn't the missile silos, or maybe it was. I'll figure it out after. Because I made a video, I just can't remember off the top of my head. And so this is radioactive material all throughout your community. But I mean, think about the dumps. My goodness, right? Okay. And then think about, I don't know where that went. That should be right there. I was looking for the Chernobyl fallout map, but okay. So there's waste here, there's waste here, there's waste everywhere. I got that one up now. And then also in the 40s and 50s and 60s, they're dumping it into your oceans. Right off the coastline right here, they got dumps. And this will get better. This is just a brief explanation. We'll get to the crazy stuff coming up. I got to look different ways, but it don't matter because you can't see me. And so that's the Atlantic side you're looking at there. So the Atlantic radioactive liquids disposed of sites 1955 to 61. See, they knew back then how dangerous it was. They were well aware of it back then. But 36 feet of water. They're not worried about terrorists diving down and gaining this because the terrorists won't come back to the surface and they won't be filling up any buckets. And anybody who brings it up to the surface ain't going to be driving their boat very far. And anybody's on the boat is done. And so is all the fish that's caught there, all the hook and line and gill nets that are set out there, all the scallop grounds that is contaminated with this stuff. And then you eat the scallops decades later. Do you think that that's safe all of a sudden? That's why they dumped it in the ocean. Savannah, Sandy Hook, look at these places, right? Savannah was a real dumping ground, wasn't it? And we'll give you some real good documentation coming up, though, once I get my act together. 2 sites off Louisiana and Florida in particular. And one container is 1,000 fathoms, 6,000 feet. Sometime before 1958, not sure, but sometime before. According to the 1980 Nuclear Regulatory Commission report to Congress, where they lied about the quantities and the actual sites. But Beaufort, anytime you're ready, Beaufort. So the whole Atlantic, Cape Cod, Cape Henry, really something, eh? 1957 atomic. We're going to come over some of these reports in a little bit and I'll walk you through some of that. And so Charleston. My, you've been a naughty boy down there. Jacksonville, Florida. I mean, this is shocking what we're seeing here. These approximately 1947 to 1958, drive it out and dump it in the ocean because they understood back then. Even though their charter, because they originally opened with charters, the charter said none would be released into the community. But the scientists knew you couldn't contain the noble gases. Come over and say hi, everybody here. Chug a lug it, I'll be drinking, slurping. Not much you can do about it. Let's go and say hi. We're on Brave browser. Hi, everybody. Hi, Elaine. And Amthurst. And Elaine. And Nev Killer. Nev Killer was telling me about the volume. And so I got that a little bit better, hopefully, Nev Killer. I'll listen to it again after, and I'll keep my eye out for helpful thoughts. Cruising, Nathan, Paul, Amthurst, Candace, Elaine. Hi, Elaine. Hi, everybody. Illusion, anybody I'm missing, my apologies. And I know I'm missing people. But Hyper, just a quick scan to make sure I say hi to as many. Kiss. Hi, Kiss, DGAF, Hyper, of course, Debbie, Amthurst, and so these comments will all be gone after. And we're 12 minutes into it. Health is good, and we don't pay any attention to Google statistics anyway. That's absolutely, unbelievably wrong all the time. Google statistics. Okay, so there's been submarines. Submarines have been dumped off this coastline. Yeah? Submarines dumped off the coastline. Think about that one. Got no idea what's going on here. Oh, this cuts. I wanted to zoom to make it easy, so. Is it going to zoom? Is it not? Who knows? Let's try this one more time. Yeah, okay, that's all working. Dana, let's get back to this documentation for everybody. Let's change that though before we do it so I can zip back and forth a little bit more silently. Maybe. Yeah, because I'm coming over to the external computer. Let's use this one. Okay, I can make that a little bit quicker. 1 second click. There we go. There we go. So this is the external computer. It's piped in with a HDMI. And how's the audio going, everybody? It's a bit better, I know, I'm sure. Is it loud enough? Because I can crank it. I just don't like that. You say there's so much work to do. Sandy Hook, unnamed sites. Looking for those links that are supposed to be there. 204 containers of radioactive waste were dumped at this site between 1959 and 1960. Right? And you remember that first one I showed you, where they said they told Congress they dumped 7 curries, was it? There's 88 curries in a gram. So they went all the way to the middle of the Pacific to dump 1/6 of a gram. So what was the likelihood that they were lying about what they were telling Congress? Well, if you know anything about nuclear, you know its entire history is predicated upon lie after lie, manipulation, deception. How many scientists have told you it was like a banana and a potato chip and walking in the sunshine and getting on an airplane and dental x-rays and chest x-rays? Every one of them. If you heard it in media, if you heard it in a study, if you heard it through the mainstream, the government, then it was a lie. Every dog, for instance, in every study at Loveless Respiratory Research Institute for 35 years, 94 studies just by one guy there, every dog died from just one exposure. Not from constantly breeding it, drinking it, eating it, like we are now in North America from the radio. And we're going to come to Fukushima after, but the first half an hour is really to show you this history, this litany of no accountability, of not even trying to be accountable. Summary of U.S. disposal operations, 51 in the 67 Atlantic Ocean. And I can make that even bigger if I wanted to, because, hey, that's how I roll. Bye. Let's do that and drag it to the left, make it a wee bit tinier. Move it to the right, a little to the left, page 37. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Mouse, the other mouse now. Okay. 79,000 barrels, 79,480. Woo, baby. 1951, 58, 59 to 60. Summary of U.S. sea disposals, Atlantic Ocean. This is what we're showing you today is by no means encompassing all the nuclear releases and everything else, but it's close. Very close. 33,000 curiums of induced activity. Includes pressure vessel of Seawolf. Seawolf was a submarine, yeah? That's what Seawolf was, right? It was an American military submarine, Navy submarine, rather. And they scuttled it. Dumped it in the ocean. You hear the people that worked on these subs always saying, oh, no, I worked on nuclear reactors for 30 years. I can assure you, there was never a leak. No, that's all it does is leak. Estimated activity of time of packaging. So they packaged it all up, 14,000, 24,000, 1946 to 58, poor immigrants. 1959 to 60, they were hardcore, 14,000 that year. Busy boys. 61, 62. Yeah, no, these guys were completely out of control, yeah? 52,000, another 14,000. Get on your rubber boots, boys. We're heading out to dump it over the side. Yeah, but it's fishing grounds. There's boats everywhere. Got to get it off because the radiation will kill us. That's how that went. That's how that played out. Totaling. Now, when they talk about these numbers, these elements, these isotopes, they are by no means being forthcoming. Forthwith, totaling whatever they say, multiply it by about 60 million to 60 billion to 60 trillion, and you're more closer to the real number. You believe nothing that these people tell you. For 70 years, they've lied about every aspect, every facet, every minutiae of the minutiae of the minutiae of the minutiae. They've lied and demonized and vilified and as viciously slaughtered and attacked anybody who tried to say the truth, who tried to say, hey, wait a second, they're being deceptive. In table, summary sea disposal, 1950, 67. No, it's not on a nuclear waste site. They dump it in the ocean. And all of that has to be cleaned up. All of that has to be found. All of that has to be, you can't find it all because these containers might have been stainless steel like they clean, who knows, but that was just to get it out there and get it off the boat. See, 131 entering the plant. They found, in addition to the steady background levels of fallout isotopes and natural radioactivity, right? What are you talking about natural radioactivity? What the frig is that got to do? Is it not from a reactor? It's just a way to confuse everybody, a way to deceive everybody, a way to manipulate everybody. And it's disgusting. It's pathetic. It's destructive. It's hopeless when they talk like that. These people are hopeless. These are criminals of the worst magnitudes. Sewage treatment process. 137 concentrated with the sludge. Like, it was just so many things wrong with what you're reading here. Shallow explosions at 10,000 pounds for each seated with 500 curies of radionuclides. Right there, we know in fracking they use uranium, right, to make the explosives. Like, use a couple of grams uranium to make explosives around, I can't remember what the number is, 8 times more powerful. So you got a ton of dynamite and you seed it with a gram of this enriched uranium. You can make it 8 times more powerful, but you contaminated all the groundwater and soil and everything there till, for 4 billion years. Big slurp coming up, hang on. I mean, these people are completely out of control. Summary of European nuclear energy agencies package radioactive waste disposal, number of containers. You can be sure these are not anything close to active. But look at the estimate activities in curies. Like a gram has 88. United Kingdom only got rid of 91. Like, it's ridiculous. They got rid of a gram is what they're saying with that number. They got rid of, 1/100th of a gram. They got rid of, even though they had 1,200 containers, 35,000 containers total, 253 curies and 76. I mean, a pound of a fuel rod is more curies than what they claim was actually 35,000 containers. So the people are professional lawyers, professional murderers. These are what these people are. There's nothing good about the nuclear history, the nuclear industry. There's no heroes. There's no one there to look up to. There's no one there as a model. There's no one there you would want as a neighbor. There's no one there you can trust as a friend in the nuclear industry. From my scrutiny and almost a decade of hardcore, I have yet to find anybody working in the industry that is in a position where they can speak out, or where, if they do speak out, then their entire history is called into question because they lied their entire history. And if they tell you the truth now, it's just to win you over, and then they'll fill you up with lies and everybody else you recommend. Man's use of nuclear energy results in another wider spectrum of radionuclides of varying characteristics. Yeah, around 12,000 radionuclides. That's why you have terrorist laws and nuclear waste sites, see? This is why Fukushima is so bad. It's because there's this history. There's unmitigated, and these, I should have went 1080 today, but daytime I'm worried about the video stopping and chopping, and you got to realize I'm 10 miles outside of town, 10 kilometers outside of town. But yeah, copy and paste and go look at all this material like I do, and you really get a comprehension. Oceanic distribution of radionuclides from nuclear explosions. I mean, the studies are profound, how many of them, right? And they're studying the tracer, strontium-90, cesium, iodine's 131, right? Cesium and strontium. For Fukushima, there was 100 times more strontium-90. That goes into your bones. It's a beta. Right into your bones. Bones. And then you mutate your stem cells. I'm just farting around, I'm sorry. In total, almost 2,600 analysts of samples from the ocean and major sea have been formed and reported, and the results are summarized in the following pages. No, they're not. You only talk about tracers. Right? And then they give you a page that looks like that. What the hell am I supposed to do with that? I know. This is going to get weird. Not that way, Dana. Not that one. Wait for it. That's going to make it smaller. That's going to do nothing. Oh, yeah. This is probably not going to help. Straighten it up, Dina. Don't you know how to do anything? I don't know what I'm doing. No. Might never get out of this spot. We'll be looking at everything for the rest of the year now like that. Sideways. Okay. Well, at least make it big enough to read, Dana. Pushy people, man. Goodness. I got no idea what it is, though. How about that? Wow. I gotta look over here. I'll never figure it out. Oh, goodness me. Okay, let's go back. 1957. Hang on a second. Let me scan it. Yummy. I'm missing something here. Okay, let's get out of this. I got everything so messed up. Well, I got a reset button. Ching. That wasn't so hard. Dina, all crying and sniveling. Table, a mean annual 90 concentration in the Western Pacific waters, which is the tracer. It's the tracer, and you know how to find it. And then that means the 12,000 other isotopes are there too. But it's this documentation and this history. And let's come back over. And so off Florida and California and up the coast from it and all around it, they had huge dumps. 106 miles southwest of here and west of there and west of Fort Braggs and then west of the Farallon Islands, Midway Islands. We looked at that one. 14 curries, all the way out the dump, 1/6 of a gram. That's what a gram of fuel rod would have 88 curries. And a curry is 37 billion atoms. And a gram of a gram of natural stuff. Oh my goodness. A gram of natural stuff. So a gram of man-made can light up 1,000,000 1-watt bulbs. 1,000,000 1-watt bulbs for 9 months. But a gram of natural stuff which a gram of man-made is 88 times 37 billion curries, but a gram of natural is nowhere near a curry. It's 160,000 emitters, but they can't hurt you or something like that. They're just natural. Your body's full of those emitters. They're not radiation. They're just, they're emitters, but they can't harm anything. That's what nature is made of. They're the fabric of the universe or of life itself. They're not harmful. When we put it through a chain reaction, though, so a gram of natural can't light up a light bulb or anything close to it, or doesn't have any energy whatsoever. It's irrelevant. You can eat it. It's not going to hurt you. But a gram of man-made is 88 times 37 billion. And it can light up 1,000,000 light bulbs. But each one of those atoms distributed out is enough to give every animal and every person on the planet cancers. But long before cancers, there's 1,800 diseases, illnesses, autoimmune deficiencies will show up. And we know this from, I should find my way back over here. We know this from studies on animals. Studies on animals, compound in animals. At some point, I'll get in the video. Curium isotopes are the biggest producer byproduct of the fuel rods, yeah? Not iodine, not strontium, not cesium, not the tracers that they look for. But curium acts just like plutonium dioxide in the beagle dogs. That was proven in these studies, right? Curium isotopes in beagle dogs. The application in human is the same. So the study was conducted to determine the biological effects of plutonium-238. So the dogs inhale one, not drinking it all day, not eating it in their food all day, not getting baths with it all day, and showers with it, and washing their hair with it, not washing their hands with it all day, paws with it all day, not swimming in it and hot tubbing in it, and not cooking your meal in it and washing your laundry in it. No, just 1, 2, that's what we're doing. But the dogs only had 1 or 2, right? Drum roll. Every dog died by 5.4 years. Tumors, lungs, skeleton, liver. These are studies, not me, and I'm making it up. Didn't Photoshop it. No, Dina, photoshopped it. I guarantee photoshopped it. Lung tumors found in 46 dogs were the second most common cause of death. Bone tumors found in 93 dogs were the most common cause of death. Liver tumors were found in 20 dogs, but were the cause of death in only 2 dogs because they had bone and lung tumors, competing tumors. And these 3 organs often occurred in the same animal and were competing causes of death. See, that's confusing, yeah? Let me break it down for you. You kill everything for 70 years every time. Does that help? Yeah? These findings in dogs suggest that the similar dose-related biological effect could be expected in humans accidentally exposed to plutonium or curium or any of the other isotopes that they've done at Loveless Respiratory Research. There's thousands of them in North America, thousands in China, thousands of these institutions killing the beagle dogs and every other animal. In Russia, and China, and India, and Pakistan, and Canada. Yeah? It's a machine of misery and agony, and murder and slaughter. That's all it is. Nuclear is the worst thing imaginable. It's the stupidest thing imaginable. It can't exist in a real world. It has to be total manipulation, total deception, total control, total just panic every time somebody comes out and tries to say, hey, wait a second. It's like this whole apparatus got to come and stomp them down to the ground. They're so disorganized. They're so compartmentalized. They're so fragmentized. These organizations, they can't work as one because they would all have to be in the loop. And if they were all in the loop, they wouldn't be able to do the job. They knew this was going on. They can come out and smear me, but they don't understand that. They don't conceive how that transpires into the human experience and how the extinction of the Pacific Ocean. That's me out there last year, 260 days. And what did we find over 260 days? This is all up at the nuclearproctologist.org. What we found was that throughout the whole coastline, jumped that. So instead of looking rich and diverse and healthy and incredible, unbelievable, inconceivable, unimaginable, every millimeter jostling, no, we went up ground zero, coastline of British Columbia, 260 days, and that's zoomed in on that beach over there. Right, you see that pole there? Let me show you that video. So, we're at the entrance of Louise Gnarls. We're going to go down, that's the west side. We're at the south end of it. Right, and so I took on Louise Gnarls, and it would look like that, see? It looked to above me, instead it's naked. And so the significance of not looking like that anymore and being naked and devoid, and I mean, 260 days. We mapped it all out, and I'll just move on, but we put it all up at the nuclearproctologist.org. Let's come back over here. Let's expand that back out. Let's keep rolling on that. Mouse. Where's that other mouse? 14 curries, see? And so a gram has 88 curries. So they went all the way out to get rid of 7 drums. So none of that makes any sense, right? Do it. The only thing that makes sense is that they're lying, yeah? That would make sense. So if you look at all the spots that they've been dumping it, that's just a tiny fraction. It's just a tiny fraction. So dangerous, they went 500 nautical miles off the coast of Cape, right off to California. That's how dangerous it is. Oh, they're talking a whole lot. Los Angeles, 1971, 2,500 fathoms, 850 miles off Los Angeles. They actually dumped, out off California, they got 45,000 55-gallon, or 55,000 45-gallon drums, or only about 30 kilometers off the coastline of California. And Hi, Alex, Michael, Starlight. And hi, everybody. So, what do you mean crackpot? I'm showing you the studies. I'm showing you. What are you calling people like me a crackpot for when I'm out there on the ocean? When I'm showing you the studies, the actual studies. When I'm showing you the documentation. When I'm showing you their version versus the real version. How can people come into my... Why do they show up? Is because these people, that is who we're talking, that is what these people do. See, he's there right now saying that everything I'm showing you is not true. He's calling me a crackpot. And upsetting everybody, because everybody here knows the difference. And you can't talk to these people. Crackpot's conspiracy theory. Well, you know what? Fuck you. You coward. You traitor to humanity. You monkey from humanity. You idiot. You're not a human like us. That person is not. He's not. That's not normal to come in and deny all the documentation. As you're showing the documentation, as you're walking them through the information, as you're introducing people to the history, like how is it that I can show all these studies and then people will show up in the comment section, like obviously morons, from the industry. This is why the nuclear industry is so disgusting, so pathetic, so twisted, and so demented, and so out of control. There's just no one to hold them accountable. And then the fact that I come out and say, hey, look what they got done to you. They got nowhere to put this, so they put it everywhere. They already wasted your country because they were worried Russia might do that. So the radioactive fallout throughout your country is like that. That's only based upon 10 years of 3 or more tests in the same direction. All the nuclear power plants, all the missile silos, all of this stuff is vented into your community all the time. And then what happens is, like the dogs were given one dose. Not like us where it's vented all the time in your community and you're drinking it all the time, you're eating and you're children. This is why there's 6 times more breast cancer. But how arrogant to come into my stream. Piss me off like that today. Now, my cigarettes don't have 7,000 chemicals. Any idea why? Because I don't want 7,000 chemicals. But why do they give you 7,000 chemicals in a cigarette? What is wrong with these people? Why would someone do that? Why wouldn't the government stop it? Because the government sanctioned the 7,000 chemicals in the cigarette. They liked it. They're like, that's cool, man. You're good to go. Next. What? You only got 6,000? He's got 7,000. You got to put different warning labels on yours because you ain't got enough chemicals to kill somebody yet. No, well, 6,000 is enough, trust me. Let's keep going. It's just arrogance. I smoke nicotine. Everybody else is smoking, not everybody, but the majority are smoking. 99% at least are smoking 7,000 chemicals. That's shocking. I was hooked to those 7,000 chemicals. That's why I'm smoking the ones without it. Because when I found it, I was like, holy shit. You'll never get off it. Yeah, I know Elaine. Elaine's, like she's saying, they know what these people are like. They're the ones who have to deal with it before I see it. And then I have to come in and knock it down. Because it's all nonsense to come in and call me a lawyer. To call me a lawyer. To say that I'm not being honest, or I'm not being truthful, or I'm not being rational, or I'm not being reasonable, or I'm not providing the documentation, which is what I do. Which is why, like, look at the reactor building. Right? Look at that. Now, who knows with me? And what I got is some models coming up for you of these buildings. This is Unit 1. Now, the model above me, behind me, and I'm going to jump out of this frame. Dana, you're not helping, Dana. There you go. And so the model you're looking at is what the building is supposed to, is a representation of the building. Now, I wasn't planning on screen capturing this. I was trying to be honest. And so in this one here, you can see the reactor building. I'm not showing the bottom of the reactor building on the right-hand side to kind of lift it up higher and then widen it out to get that. Now we're going to... We're going to marry them together coming up. Here's a 10-second clip. We got a number of these clips, 3 of them. And obviously, Dana, you got to click shit first. Dana. Reactor 1. I could have speeded that one up, but I didn't. My apologies. I'll always be at speed. And so when you marry these buildings together, you start to wonder, is the reactor and the fuel pools really there? But when you look at buildings like number 3, 10-second clip, 14-second clip, you know that the reactor core is completely gone. You know the fuel pools are gone. You know the inventories are gone. You know that they had 5 reactor cores in each of these buildings. They're gone, plus the reactor core itself. These were running at the time of the accident. They were gone, obviously. They went pop, pop, pop. Now, we know where that reactor core ended up. We got pictures of it coming up. I'm on the wrong mouse. Okay, so it ended up right there at the top of the screen. I found reactor 3 core. It's right there. I was looking for it, and I was studying the picture, and I said, that's it right there, man. And I stopped, I took a screen capture, and then I found reactor 3 core. That's reactor 3 core. And it's around 2,200, 2,500 feet up. The majority of it. The other parts are falling out and falling apart. So it's going all over the site. These are X-rays. These are neutron bursts. These are gamma showing. These will melt your organs. That's what happened to the Hiroshima women after the bombing. That was only a pound. We're talking about 6 reactor cores right there, gone. But boom. This is as bad as it gets. This is worse than it gets. This is worse than you can imagine it can get. There's not just one building, it's 4 buildings. This is reactor 4. Look at this fable. Look at this nonsense. That's why they're in the comment section tormenting the people. So this one, you don't have to be a genius to know everything is gone. But yet they told you they got the fuel at the top of the building. Right? The reactor core, see that yellow thing on your left-hand side is supposed to be in the center of the building like the right-hand side picture. So that yellow thing straight up, the top of it, is that yellow piece over there sitting on the side. Let's another little breakdown. Remember what happened here. This thing took out 400 miles of the coastline, not just this nuclear power plant in particular. Meltdowns, 4 of them, 4 buildings completely gone, and 5 extra reactor cores in each building. That's 24 reactor cores. Chernobyl was 1 reactor core. It was 1/3 the size. It was a 30% meltdown. This is one. It's gone. You're never getting in there again. That's the top of it. But this is what it should look like. These buildings should look like. Unit 2. See, that stayed intact, but we know it's all gone. That's what that Muron device on the right-hand side, they shot it through. It was all gone. Now, everything that's left inside the building could get and would get immediately contaminated with fissionable products. And so if they found some kind of shapes there, but they can't figure out what it was just the radioactive material left behind. We know that because we got the heat signatures in the top corner showing the building's completely melted through, melted out, and gone. But number 3, just that one on its own is 4,500 times worse than every reactor on the planet melting down at the one time. It's mixed oxide. It's MOX fuel. This is where they reclaim uranium-235 and plutonium from missiles, from the weapons in the missile silos from different countries. Right? They said they were going to burn it in the reactors and get rid of it. You can't get rid of it without releasing it into the environment. The cigarette is burning. The cigarette is gone. The smoke is there. And if it had the 7,000 chemicals, it'd be 7,000 times worse, yeah? But see, that cigarette will disappear, yeah? Yeah. You put freaking wood on the stove, it disappears. You put oil in your furnace or propane or whatever, you got to fill it up at some point. It's going to disappear. It didn't turn into fresh air. It was released into the environment. You can't destroy it even by pouring battery acid over it. You can't even burn. It's created at 9,000 degree Fahrenheit temperatures. How are you going to destroy that when you can't even do that? Gone. And it won't be back, and you're not a lucky world. It's real bad news. This is the fake Reactor 4. They all came out and pretended they were inside of this building. Did you even look at this building? Have you ever seen this building? Do you understand how fucking destroyed that really is? Excuse the language. You should be all screaming that word in the streets. You should be all outraged and humiliated that they said it looked like that. Inside of that. They say it looks like that. You have to be a genius to look at that and know that that is not true. Well, if you made it this far in the video, you don't. But to the people that might be sitting on the fence, that's the lie. That's the fable that they told you. They got all the fuel out of that building. There they are, getting it out. They're in that building. You can't go in that building today. You won't be able to get in there in 3,000 years. You can't get in these buildings. Even the robots die right away. And I'm pretty sure I can build a robot that can take on this job. And I'm sure the cameras will work. To an extent, you have to get, the robot will come back and then you'll have your film, you'll have your footage. But the idea would be to put the cameras inside of hard water, special water, in a glass sarcophagus, so to speak, and the cameras are inside of that shooting from there. So the electrons and then the tractors, whatever you're going to use, are going to be ran by water. They're not going to have any electronics on it whatsoever. You're going to use water. You're going to use pneumatic. And pneumatic, you can get like 25,000 PSI out of it. So you have enormous amounts of energy available. You can set up remote control cameras all around a mile away and zoom in. You can have drones over this place zooming in, and the best gamers on the world manipulating the robot. You really could do stuff like that, see? But they won't. They keep trying to use electronics. They know every time they do it. They know that from Chernobyl. They know that from 3 Mile Island. They know that from the SL-1 reactor that melted down 200 kilometers from Yellowstone, which means Yellowstone is highly contaminated. Let's keep going. Zoom in, zoomed in, zoomed out. Okay, so let's come back over. Like, you got to realize what happened to these buildings. What happened to that country? Why, when I say that's powerful, let's think about, you got to build something that can take this and do that to it. Look how small those rescuers are, and look at behind them. Look at it. Like this tsunami wave reached up to 90 feet in the air in some places, where it rushed in, climbed up, but it was generally 40 to 60 feet. 400 kilometers of the coastline. And the heartaches are just unbelievable, unimaginable. These people have suffered enough. The nuclear industry shouldn't be allowed to do what they're doing now to them. It's the equivalent of putting somebody in a cage and having everybody in New York pick up a stick and go down and poke them until they're finally dead. These people have been to hell. They already seen hell. They don't deserve what Tepco, a corporation, is doing to them. This is where all the people died on the coastline. It's where they all died. In the red, the yellow are the ones that are missing. And so that's 400 kilometers of coastline. People died because the coastline was like that. They died along that. All those red numbers and yellow numbers are because the coastline looked like that. Those yellow numbers, here's one of them right here. That's one of those yellow numbers right there. Look, her loved one. Those power plants were in that 15 of them were in that area. Look, they picked up 30 million of these bags, okay? That's a fact. That's not no if or ands or buts about it. They picked up 30 million of those bags because there's 15 reactors, whereas tsunami turned everything into a wood chipper and they all lost their inventories. There's 15 reactors, yeah? And Tokyo governor, Fukushima governor, strongly demand Tepco decommission at least 10 of them that definitely were destroyed. And he knows that because he knows that's what that looked like. He knows where those reactors were. He knows that. He knows there was 30 million bags. He knows the carnage, the damage, the loss of the infrastructure, the enormous power of it all. And still not enough power. No, where are you going to hook it up? How are you going to hook it up? Where are you going to plug it in? Where are you going to plug power into that? Huh? Still not enough power to run crucial machinery. How are you going to connect power to that? How are you going to connect power to that? How are you going to connect power in there? No end in sight for radioactive releases. Could last months. France. We're still a long way off from power being restored. Gee, really? You think you're going to restore power to anything? What? There's nothing there to restore power to. But this is the lies. This is the industry. This is that hubris nature of that incredibly deceptive, disgusting beast known as the nuclear industry. Not only that, right? They take that and then they come out and pretend that it looks like that. These are the official pictures. I mean, that was Tepco 3 months ago coming out and showing everybody. Not that that matters. Here's Seth Dorn pretending he's inside
the decommissioning work taking place here in Reactor 4.
Well, look, what is he talking about? That's Reactor 4. But he showed you a beautiful building, perfectly symmetrical with people all over the place. You walk in there, you don't come back. You don't go very far either. You're dead within a minute. There's no ifs, ands. If you can get close enough to it, you got to realize the rods are all over the site. That's X-rays and neutrons and gammas. You walk by them, you don't even know they're buried under the soil, and 2 weeks later, you're dead. Just by walking by it. That's why you won't see Harvard or Yale or Berkeley or Stanford or MIT or Oxford or any of the Commonwealth. But here's Tepco. I'll skip ahead. At the press club. And this is what he shows is Unit 4. In there. 3 months ago, the media was laughing and yucking it up with him. And then they went and told their readers that that was Unit 4. They never showed him that. They showed him that. Is that not wrong? Is there not something seriously wrong with that equation? And let's come back over to that. I swear to freak I just got rid of that and put something else there. Hang on. I had a mouse click, didn't I? For that one. Let's try that again. It's on 2 seconds. Let's put it on 1 second. Let's see how that works. Yeah, there you go. I like it. A little delay that time on my end. Okay. So it's not dangerous, but you have to bring it out to the middle of the ocean to dump a gram, less 1/6 of a gram of it, right? That's what that one was, 1/6 of a gram. 14 curries. There's 88 curries in a gram. And if that's not confusing enough, I don't know what is. Why would you do that? Why? Well, why would you lie constantly? Let's skip down and choose some of this. Here we go. Atlantic Ocean, 90 strontium comparisons, United States, Soviet Union, Poland. And so 137 was measurements were converted to strontium by mathematical equations, right? And for that application, they used 0.67, which is most likely not an accurate one. But who knows for the type of fuel they were using. Western Pacific, 1961, 20 and 30, and blah, blah, blah. They just make it up as they go along. They're using 90 when that's just one of the thousands of isotopes, but it's the tracer. See, this is the one they told you all the time. Oh, we're worried about strontium 90. No, I'm worried about plutonium, uranium, because that's what the reactors run on, yeah? The ocean from surface to 700 meters. But, I mean, we covered so many studies already over the last couple of years, have we? On the actual, what's really truly going on. I was looking for something. That's okay, let's jump. I'll find what I'm looking for in a second here. Oh, probably missed it already. Looks like I'm gone past it, but. And so, in other words, what they were doing is a better way to look at this than, because I can't find what I'm looking for now. The Atlantic Ocean, right? They have gone bananas in the Atlantic. Just totally despicable in the Central Atlantic. Just, oh yeah, baby, we got to get rid of it. We're going to take it out and dump it in the ocean because it's like a banana and a potato chip and walking in the sunshine and getting on an airplane. So we got to take it out and dump it in the ocean and then go to congressional hearings because it's like a banana. The whole industry is predicated upon law after law, and like we're not talking about in these models. We're not talking about the dumps throughout the country. We're not talking about the landfills where they dumped it in the landfills and buried it. I mean, you would bankrupt America just to clean up Hanford. You would bankrupt America to clean up Hanford. And let's come back over to this one. Where did I put that though? Oh yeah, right here. No. Oh, down here. Up there. Who knows? Right. Here we go. Ultimate worst case scenario on the way of Fukushima. August 24, 2013. Melted fuel is exiting the Fukushima site. The situation beyond man's control? Yeah, because it even kills the robots. 3 or 4 times, really? If that's all we had to worry about. Chernobyl, 1/3 the size, 30% meltdown, stopped after 10 days. So people are not being honest ever. There was a melt-through, so Fukushima fuel is definitely down in the groundwater. Americans need to watch it. Gets international very quickly. No immediate, may already be at the West Coast, no immediate risk, no. No, because it takes 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years for the cancer to manifest. Because you're not looking for the 1800 diseases that show up before cancer, yeah? You're not looking for the Alzheimer's and dementia and the autism. You're not checking for diabetes. You're not checking for heart or liver or lung or respiratory or pituitary or adrenaline or thyroid. You're not. You're not checking for the bone marrows. It was a nuclear explosion, reactor 3, whatever it was. Doesn't matter. The 6 reactor cores are gone. They're gone into the environment. That's game over for the Pacific Ocean. And we documented that already, the death of the Pacific Ocean. For 260 days and 15,000 miles of the coastline is up at the nuclearproctologist.org. Out of the 5,600 species, highly visible species, just in Georgia Strait, we found around less than 100 throughout the whole coastline of Canada. But Barkley Sound, we were up there on the boat 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks ago. There's 14 species left out of 7,200 highly visible species. And I was banned for asking that question, why is there only 14 species? You're banned. Get off the property, Dana Durnford. You see me coming, they knew who I was, they feared me. Oh shit, not him again. Everybody put on their hats and run, duck and cover. Dana's coming. I had to be rescued by Forrester because my legs gave out on me. Authorities on the U.S. West Coast concerned with stunning news from Fukushima. Radioactive water pouring out. Yeah, Tepco's building an ice wall. What happens if it melts? Then everything that got held on is going to go flying back into the environment. Oh, it's also going to be liquefaction throughout the site. The buildings are going to start to tip over because you can't get rid of the water. They're not going to pump it up. They don't have enough tanks. Set myself on fire. Now I got to wind it down. Let's call it a day. Ocean already contaminated from deluge. Cesium at 1,000% normal levels. There is no normal levels. That's the war stuff left over from weapons testing we were showing earlier. We're talking about generations. We're talking about an extinction event. This is an extinction event for the whole planet. Eggs, insects, faunas, floras, animals. Oh yeah, baby. It's gone way out of control. It's way out of control at this stage. Less than 5 years. Unbelievable what it's got done. Unbelievable. Most frightening thing imaginable. Most frightening spot to be right now is in the Pacific Rim nations. You got to watch out for superstorms, supercell typhoons, supercell hurricanes, supercell tropical storms at over 200 miles an hour, 225 miles an hour, like the ones that hit Tonga and Vanuatu and hit Mexico and hit the Philippines, wiped out 41 provinces with a 100-mile wide eye, 200 miles an hour, gusting 225 miles per hour. It took 30 million coconut trees and turned them into projectiles. Yeah, you got to watch out for that shit. That hits Canada, we're done. You'll get it then, trust me. It will hit Canada. There's no way to avoid this. The ocean's heating up because the radiation just pumps energy all day, nonstop, every second. 1,460 times a minute, 1,440 minutes a day for billions of years is producing energy. That's why there was 1 million watts in a gram. That's why 1 million watts, 333 3,000 watt heaters, burn, baby, burn, for 9 months. That's what a gram can do. Just because you atomize the aerosol and 24 reactors worth into the ocean, this is unheard of. There is no book on this. There is no little grab a fire extinguisher. My cigarettes don't have 7,000 chemicals because I'm not a sucker. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to believe the government. The government said it's okay to have 7,000 chemicals in a cigarette. We don't care. Just give us our money. That's what they've done to you. The nuclear industry is no different. And they call me the breeze. I keep rolling down the road. Oh, now they call me the breeze. Look at that. 2 sets. Didn't they got so many discs? Must have cost a fortune. Yeah, 10 of these sets are $1,500. Needless to say, I won't be buying sets for a long time. Don't need to. I'm happy with what I got. I'm not saying anything like that. You say I had lots of money, I would. I'd get them made specifically for me. Everything would be branded. The Nuclear Proctologist.org. We got to get to the point where they fear that I'm in their community. Or they're terrorized to leave the office because they know I'm hunting them down to get a picture of them and tell the world that these are their scum. Ooh, yeah, baby. Now look what they've done to you already. They've done that because, it's like a banana, Dana. No. White. Right off your coastline, 39 containers we know about, and 59 and 60. According to the nuclear regulatory, as if you can believe anything they're going to tell you. There's more like 3,900 containers, and they probably dumped it right around the entire island. That would be more like it. That would make more sense. And that's the wrong screen. I'm supposed to bring up you guys. And then we blasted past the 1 hour, did we? 52 minutes. Oh, we're doing pretty good. Hugs for Pam, Starlight, Cruising, Delamine. Hanford is sad. Yeah, you would bankrupt America to clean up Hanford. Lonnie's here somewhere by the sounds of it. Nip Killer, Liz, Elaine, Cotton. It's okay, Cotton. Amthurst. Cruising, nuts for art. They're afraid of us breaking the brainwash. And there you go. Well said. That was Lonnie. Lonnie's got a great little radio show going. She's trying. Candace. Hi, everybody. And hugs for everybody. Cruising. And everybody I didn't get to. Graham. And anybody. And just quick boot. Yeah, they can't separate tritium because the water itself is radiated. It's like a screwdriver. It gets magnetized. The screwdriver is magnetized. You can't switch it off, so to speak, right? When it comes to nuclear, once it's done, it's done. So you can radiate everything around you, and you do, and you did, and you already have. Once again, hugs for everybody. A little shorter than the 1 hour show today. Yeah, keeping it real from Kansas. Thanks, Liz. Pam, Candace, Graham, everybody, Elaine, Amthurst, Cotton, and everybody else that finds the time and the energy and are sitting out there watching it. Hugs for everybody. Once again, Dana loves you. I don't stop. I'm here for you. I do it because I can and I should, and therefore I will, and I did. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm proud to do the things I'm doing. I don't like doing it, but I'm proud to do it. I'm willing to do it. Nobody wants this job, trust me. It's incredibly difficult to get anything right that I'm doing, like equipment-wise, and to get it to where it runs smoothly and runs efficiently and effectively is, just you have to aspire to be better every time. Hopefully the audio is a little bit better this time. And who knows, I'll listen to the show later today and I'll go in and tweak and try to make things a little tiny bit better till we get to where we're supposed to be. And it's because we have to do everything ourselves, right? Being able to pull off the things I pull off and make it happen in real time. And the Geiger counter, for some reason, got snapped out of there, did it? Okay, well, that's in real time. Usually steer all of the show. Hugs for everybody. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Hopefully at the same time. This is what we're trying to get back into the 10:30 a.m. schedule 5 days a week. And so far, so good. We're almost there. We'll see everybody tomorrow. That can take the time. If not, it'll be reposted up at Beautiful Girl by Dana after the live stream. So take care, folks.